Welcome to the E-Show with Neil Ravin. Founded in 2013, the EHL has become the college placement leader on the East Coast. Sit back and learn more about the next step in your junior hockey career.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. The Foundation's mission centers around their daily motto: we take care of our own, as they help out all of those within the hockey community who've experienced a catastrophic event. Learn more at penaltyboxfoundation.org. What's up? My name is Neil Ravin, and this is episode number 174 of the E-Show. On this week's episode, we feature the first of two new programs in the South Division, the New Jersey Bears. Located in Flemington, New Jersey, the Bears have purchased and relocated the Protec Jr. Ducks franchise this offseason. Jake Basile chats with Jason Kilcoyne as the former assistant coach of the 2016-17 EHL champion Philadelphia Junior Flyers discusses his return to the league as the man at the helm for the Bears. Kilcoyne is hopeful that New Jersey can pick up where Protec left off, which ended by finishing in first place in the South Division at the end of this past regular season.
Hello, E-Show. Today I am joined by head coach of the New Jersey Bears, Jason Kilcoyne. The new franchise has high hopes following in the footsteps of the former Protec Jr. Ducks. Kilcoyne is a former coach in the EHL, having served as assistant during the Philadelphia Junior Flyers championship run, but most recently working with the New Jersey Rockets of the USPHL. He is a former NCAA athlete where he suited up for Lebanon Valley College. Coach, thank you for joining us, and I think is this going to be your first appearance on the E-Show?
Yeah, my first time. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me on, Jake.
So welcome to the E-Show. And first off, we'll step in a bit of a time machine and go back to your last year in the EHL, winning that championship with the Junior Flyers. What do you remember most about this league?
About the league?
Yes, sir.
Most about the league? It's still the same direction. Like it's really a college-based league where they're, primarily pushing their kids to Division III schools, and it's a direct feeder into that, and they do the best job I feel at any level of juniors as far as putting guys into college, and that being the ultimate goal. I've kind of never deviated from that mindset, even when I went over to the Rockets. It's always been the same type of thing, like, looking to push guys to Division III schools and stuff like that. But, I think between what I do and what the league does, I think it's a great fit. It's pretty seamless. So, but it doesn't seem like much has changed since then. There's not many more teams. It's still got an extremely good product as far as the on ice and what the players are here for. And I think they have a good mission statement. And I think just the way they kind of go about their business and how they promote kids, it's fantastic.
And how did the opportunity to come back come to you?
Came out of nowhere. I mean, to be honest with you, thought I was going somewhere else. And I was just waiting on it to finalize. And that thing actually did come available the day after I signed with the Bears, and I wind up passing on it because I feel like me being in the EHL is the right fit. It's the type of athlete I like working with. It's the type of player I like working with. I was a Division III hockey player, so I kind of understand what they're, going through and what they're looking for, and I like helping kids in the process. I like working with older players, as far as age out or last year or this year would be 05s, but it's I think it was a good fit all around, and the fact that it's 30 minutes from my house was a positive too.
And being away from the league for at least 6 years, how much attention did you pay to the EHL? Were you keeping an eye on it at all?
Yeah, so I mean, I know a lot of the coaches that are in the league. Some of them were there when I was there last time, so I know them. I would compete against most of them as far as players and stuff like that. I did. they do a really good job recruiting players. So it's we kind of cross paths. So I would always have an eye on exactly what was going on as far as which teams were doing well and stuff like that. Last year it was probably one of the years I probably watched the least, just because we were caught up in our season and stuff like that with coming back from the championship team that we had. So that was kind of it was a big rebuild, so we had to bring in a whole new team. So it was I really wasn't focused as much on other leagues last year as I was on my own team.
Getting to know the new ownership of the Bears, as well as the Ducks GM Joe Bucchino, who is coming over from the Ducks. How has that been, and how have you guys kind of ironed out a vision for the team?
Well, I think it starts with Mike. Mike's done a great job as far as he's putting in a new locker room. He's putting in a new chiller in the rink to kind of make the ice. I mean, the one thing I like about this rink is it's extremely cold. The ice is very good. And so it feels like home. Like it's nice. Like it really does have that like home ice feel when you come into it. Yeah, it's I think Mike's doing a great job as far as putting in a new locker room dedicated just for the EHL team, which is important, for nowadays athlete. And the amount of time that we spend in the rink, having that facility is huge, and then having the gym that's here. I mean, the gym is the same exact size as the rink, like, and it's gigantic, and you get access to that every day. And then 2 days a week, you get access with a personal trainer. So you don't have to leave the building to do anything, which is really important, especially in this area, because in New Jersey, if you want to go anywhere, it's 15 minutes, even if you're going right down the road. So it's it's definitely cool. It's more focused approach as far as an organization versus some of the other places that I've been, where it's much larger, and larger isn't always better, and especially when it comes to sports, so and Joe has been instrumental as far as one, getting me here, too, two, just helping with everything, and just having knowledge of certain things that we need to do and can't do, and being that buffer in between Mike and myself, is just as far as things that I need and stuff like that. Because sometimes it's one thing to ask for something, but it's another thing for a person to make sure you're getting every single thing you need. And Joe has done like a fantastic job, along with Jackson, just making sure everything I need, or if I ask for something, I get it, and there's no issues. And Mike's been great at just doing whatever we need. We're trying to be successful right from the jump, and seems like it should be that way, but you never know.
And on the ice, what does a Kilcoyne coach team look like?
Yeah, it's we're aggressive, and we want to play offense. That's the main goal. Like, we're not a team that's going to trap. Like, we don't do that. We're trying to showcase the players. So we really want to showcase our speed, our team speed. Our D zone's aggressive, our O zone's aggressive. Everything we do is pretty aggressive. So it's definitely a team that will compete. Well, you'll play in all three zones. You will play defense, and that's one thing that we definitely pride ourselves on. But we pride ourselves, more on playing defense for a short period of time, so we can go play offense.
And we know that this team will be configured with a good amount of your players from the Rockets. So how do you expect those guys to set the standard for this new franchise?
Anytime, and like in juniors, anytime you have returning players, it's so important, because the second year is players take gigantic steps just because they know everything, they know what to expect. Because I think that's probably the number one thing that takes players off guard, is how competitive it actually is, and how different it is than youth, or even prep school. It's because it's every day, and it's constant. And I think when you get the guys that are coming in their second year, they're more prepared, and the more guys that you have that come back, it's easier to get the team to conform to what you're trying to do, and it's extremely important to have guys buy in early, because those games mean stuff too, and having that, majority of players that are coming back with me, it's invaluable. It's something that you can't put a price on, and they help you with, just when you have 8-9 guys that understand what you're trying to do, and they've been through it with you already. The other, 11 or 12 or whatever it is that you have, they usually buy into it too.
So 7 out of those 9 Rockets you sent me are O3s. So is it fair to say that you are specifically looking for a veteran heavy group this upcoming year?
Well, I mean, every year, see, like, that's the other funny thing. Like, I think this is the biggest group I've ever had come back. Usually, we're 13, 14, 15 guys going to school. So, it's usually we have 6, 7 max returners. Like, this is kind of a larger group that we have coming back. But I mean, it's always focused on that, because that's, really what the schools are looking for, those older players, and that's really why we focus on those older players. And it's really what I like working with. There's more seasoned athletes, and kind of just working with them for a season or two and then kind of shipping them off to school.
And one of those O3s is goaltender Carson Fry, who put up amazing numbers for the past 2 seasons in the USPHL, 931 and a 922. So can you introduce us to him a little bit, and what his style is and what he brings?
Carson's huge. I mean, he's 6'6". So I mean, he's 6'6" and he's athletic. Carson has an opportunity this summer to, try and go make a, North American League team, and he's going to go through that process. And if that doesn't work out, he's coming with us. So it's, he's right there though as far as the goalie. I mean, he is extremely good. When he plays his game, like, he is extremely good. He was very good for us last year. We had another goalie that, wind up leaving and going to college in the middle of the year. And, Carson took a huge step as far as being the starter after that, our starter left. And, he's just never stopped. He's never looked back. Like, I'm extremely excited to see what he does this year, just because of his, size and how well he did for us last year. So, he's definitely someone that will be intriguing.
Marco Trasback, another player, one of the top scorers from the elite level. So a bigger jump than, Premier to EHL. So why do you think he's a guy who's going to be ready for that?
Well, Marcos is very fast. He competes, like, he was with our premier team all year last year, like, practice wise and stuff like that. We got him in some games, and he's just done every single thing that I've ever asked him to do. And he's always wanting to get better. As soon as everything kind of happened here, he reached out and he's just like, I don't care where I'm at in the lineup. I just want to come. And, just having a person like that in the locker room is really beneficial, and I think he's going to have to take a big step this year, but, I'm rooting for him as far as that goes. And, he's been a great person the last couple of years at the Rockets. And I thought he deserved an opportunity. And, like I said, I'm rooting for him, and I think he can make this jump. It's really going to come down to what he does. So.
And as far as the higher end scoring guys from the premier team, your team, Alex Aselka and Caden Martin, were both on the higher end stats wise. So do you view those guys as the dynamic players to watch out for this upcoming year too?
Yeah, Alex is a very good player. Both kids played very high level youth. One at Selects Academy, and then when the other one played for Dallas Stars. And they both had really good years last year. As far as just Alex actually had a better year the year before in playing for another premier team. But I think our system was, he was going in and out with some injuries last year. So I think this year, when we had our exit meeting last year, his main focus was, I'm coming back and I want to do much better than I did last year. And, I think he was frustrated with the injuries that he had, and it kind of just, would set him back a couple weeks, and then he'd get going again and then have another little injury and then set back a couple weeks. And then towards the end of the year, he had a hip injury that really gave him some issues. So I'm actually looking for him to really take a big jump. Caden Martin's just one of those kids that he's just straight north-south. He's big, like he's physical. He goes in the corners, like he gets to the net. He does every single thing right. And it's very successful in junior hockey. Like he's very good at getting to those areas that people usually don't like to do, and he's had success at it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him make that jump, and both of them, all three of those kids, all four of those kids, the one thing that they all have in common is they're extremely good people. That's the one thing that I think we're bringing back too, is every single one of their returning players is a great kid, and they really are buying into the team aspect of this.
And you will have one player from that 21-22 championship team, Connor Lorzell. So talking about that season as a whole, what did you learn about what it takes to win at the Tier 3 junior level?
Well, we've always had really good teams, with the junior Flyers. Like there was a couple Rockets teams, like the pandemic year, we won the regular season. We had the most points in the Premier, and I thought that team was pretty close to being a championship team. When it comes to these tournament-based, championships, it's really your depth that comes into play. Not always the best team wins it, the deepest team wins it. Whereas like when you have series and stuff like that, it's a little more cut and dry as far as the better team generally wins those. But it always comes down to three things. It comes down to goaltending, it comes down to team defense, it comes down to timely scoring. If you get those three things, you have a chance to win. And with every championship team, whether it was Junior Flyers, in the EHL, we won a championship with the Junior Flyers in the Met League too, years ago. And, it's always the same recipe: timely scoring, good team defense, and goaltending. And if you have those three things, you'll generally be right there.
So going back, your first year with the Rockets was 17-18. Second year was 18-19 with the NCDC team.
And they were a team that had single-digit wins the season prior. You took them to contesting for a playoff spot. How did you guys accomplish that?
It was a great learning experience, as far as just learning that level. We started off so well. I think we started off like 14-2 or something, and we finished like 21-23. So you can figure the other side out on that. So it was a really good year as far as getting to know how the different leagues work, and getting to know how different people work at that level and stuff like that. And they, some of those guys do a really good job with their players, and it was definitely a big turnaround. The first year we struggled, and rightly so. We were new to it as an organization, and I thought we did the best job we possibly could. And then the following year they made some changes, and then we did the best job that we could, and then they decided to make more changes, and and kind of went from there. But it was fun. It was definitely an experience. It's just one of those things where you kind of get thrown in the middle of it, and things started ooff great, didn't end so great there as far as that year went, but it was a good experience.
So you mentioned that as a learning experience. So do you view those years with the Rockets as where you kind of found yourself and your identity as a bench boss?
I've never really changed. Even I've always been the same type of coach. I've always been a players first type coach. I do, I do push my players with things like time. I'm very fair as far as um understanding the different needs that athletes need today and stuff like that. And you know, I'm a firm believer in the fact that if you get good players and you do right by them, they will be successful. And I think that's worked for me. You know, I really do think, you know, players are the difference makers in the sport. But at the same exact time, you got to be able to get those players. So I think, that is really important to how my teams are built. And just being there to kind of help them through this process, which is, sometimes for most players is pretty daunting. It's not an easy process, but there's nothing better than when a player gets to go to the school that he wanted to go to and you help him do that. And you can take wins, losses, and stuff like that. Like that stuff doesn't mean anything when it compares to that.
So to jump off that point with the college level as the main goal, you took a long break from hockey after college. You were, for those of us who don't know, you are a business owner. So how did you find your way back to hockey, long after those college days?
It was pretty funny because I got into a different business completely. And I was doing that for a couple of years. And then one of my good friends started just a hockey camp business. And I was helping him out and, kind of got back into that. And he's like, well, why don't you help me with high school? And, one of my coaches from when I was a kid was the high school coach. So he's like, yeah, come with us. And, we won, Flyers Cup that year and we won a state championship that year. And it was really cool. And then we were doing something in the summer, some summer tournament. I think it might have been Keystone Games or something. And we actually played Jerry Domish's team. And Jerry and I knew each other. I played against Jerry when I was a kid, and I played against Jeremy, his son, when I was a player. And he needed a coach for his one junior flyer team. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And I kind of got into it, and I kind of got the bug, as far as they call it or whatever, that you're like, you like this and you just see how it goes. And then you go to the next opportunity and then you see how it goes and, kind of go from there. And that's kind of how it was, just by chance. Like we set up a exhibition game against one of Jerry's teams, and Jerry's like, hey, I need a coach. And a week later I was doing the junior Flyers Met team, and then it kind of just all started and then went from there.
Has it been at all difficult to manage the two very different plates?
No, it's actually, if anyone asks me what I do, I usually tell them that I'm a coach. I don't even bring up the other business because I really do this is my full-time job. If I had to say, if the other one's a part-time job, between me and my wife, she takes care of that side of things. I do certain things for that business, and then that's it. But I really don't. I'm not there daily. I'm at the rink daily. So it's not really something that affects my life. I actually had a player that played for me all last year, and we were talking, and he was talking about his summer job, and he was talking about getting a job at a restaurant. He didn't even know I owned a restaurant. And it's pretty funny. He's like, you own a restaurant? I'm like, yeah. So I mean, that's how much I'm physically there, as far as being gone from the players and stuff. But yeah, no, it's a unique business, and it's definitely fun, but it's I really do enjoy doing this. So it's not hard to juggle both. I'm just doing one, and the other one's ran by someone else.
So were you I assume you were more hands-on back in when you were first starting it and stuff?
Yeah, no, I used to be there daily and stuff like that, and I kind of got away from that. You get older, it's it's a fun business, but it's not something that I just couldn't see myself being there every single day. You know what I mean? And then this thing kind of came up and filled a big void as far as taking up my time, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and now it's kind of here. And 11 years later, we're at where we are. So.
And is there anything that you found in managing your own and owning your own business that helped you out in the hockey world at all?
Well, actually, speaking with Jerry and stuff, there is, sports is a business, and so there's not much different from sports and other businesses, so it is something that it's a competition. You're going against different companies or teams. You know what I mean? It's very similar to that. And Jerry was very good at teaching the business side of this sport, and he was in it for a long period of time, and I guess bringing just the same. I mean, the business that I'm in is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hours. So bringing that over to this is pretty simple. Everyone that's in this, there's no, you'll get weeded out pretty quickly if you're not a hard worker, as far as just being able to put the time in and stuff like that. And I think Jerry did a good job teaching me that. And he was someone that really, he bought into the fact that you do have to sit in a rink for X amount of hours and talk to 50 kids to try and get X amount of kids or whatever. And it's not something that I necessarily do that way anymore, and technology's helped out a lot as far as video and being able to just communicate with players a lot easier than when we started years ago. But it's not much different than any other business. You know what I mean? It's always the recipe for success is usually starts with hard work, and if you work hard at it, and you usually can be successful. So.
And finally, so this being the off season, it's not an ordinary one for you guys, obviously being a new franchise. Picking up the pieces with the Ducks, they were a very successful franchise despite their short time, and are coming off a season where they won the most even division in the league. Do you feel as though there's any pressure on you to pick up where they left off?
No, I think they had a lot of success. But to put pressure on myself to be someone or start be someone else's team or be another team or anything like that. I mean, that's just, again, if I stick to what my core values are, as far as just being a player's coach and helping players get to school and stuff like that at the end of the day is the success part of it. The wins and losses that take care of themselves. I'm not worried about where we finish or anything like that. And it's not about us winning championships or hanging banners and stuff like that. It's about getting kids to school. And that's really the main focus that I have, and anything else, I don't, it's not that I don't care. Obviously we want to have a very good competitive team, and we will, and I'm not worried about that. But at the same exact time, we're not chasing some other team or anything like that. I mean, I think their division is extremely good. I mean, I think there was the 4 points separated first and fourth or something like that. So, I mean, sure, we're going to win the division by 1 point. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's, the main thing is, the college guys, getting guys to college and stuff like that.
Absolutely, Coach. And we can't wait to see what the Bears bring to the table next year. We're looking forward to the Worcester Showcase. But for now, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join us, and glad we had you on the E-Show for the first time.
Thanks, Jake. It was great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the E-Show. Learn more at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when next week's podcast is released.